Hi, I'm Tony Franklin, aka Tony Tidbit,
And I'm Dr. Bridget Cooper, also known as Dr. B,
and welcome to Burn the Blueprint podcast.
where we are going to break down outdated corporate playbooks, call out what's not working, and rebuild smarter, stronger, people centered systems at the drive performance.
Absolutely. So, Dr. B, you ready to take care of this or what?
Oh, I got the lighter right here, Tony.
Awesome. Because today we're burning one of the biggest blueprints in corporate America, the blueprint of middle management.
Whew. Yeah, let's set it on fire and build something much, much better. What do you think?
My girl, I'm all down for it. Ready?
Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Middle management is the hardest job in any organization because when you're junior, your only job is really to do your job. That's it. And you get trained how to do your job. I mean, you all have to be licensed and go to school and learn how to do the job of being an accountant. And if you're really good at it, you eventually get promoted. And you eventually get promoted to a position where you're now responsible for the people who do the job you used to do. But the problem is they don't give us any training how to do that. So you have this middle group that's in this sort of weird mix where they have to be strategic but not majority strategic, and they have to be tactical, but they're not majority tactical, and they have to translate what's going up here to down there and down here to up here, and most things break in the middle, because I'll meet firms where the leadership's amazing, and they're visionary, and they care about people, and they want to do the right thing, and then I go down to the front line, and they're like, yeah, this place is the worst. As I said before, when you were junior, we have to know what to do. We just do our jobs, we have to be good at it. And as we become leaders in this middle management, we're now transitioning to this job. We're now responsible for the people who do the job we used to do, but nobody is teaching us listening. Nobody's teaching us communication skills. Nobody's teaching us effective confrontation. Nobody's teaching us how to give and receive feedback. Nobody's actually teaching us leadership. So this is why we get managers and not leaders. And like, you would never ask somebody to do anything in accounting without showing them how to do it, ever. Bad idea, right? So why on earth do we think that we can just promote someone to a leadership position and expect that they know what to do without showing them how to do it? So that's problem number one.
So, Dr. B, and then for everybody here, just so we're clear, that is Simon Sinek. He was on a show talking about middle management. And look, he chatted, he broke it down. Okay. And this ain't rocket science. Okay. So let's go over some stats here, right? Based on what he said, because he's 100% right. A lot of people get promoted. They're individual contributors because they drove the most revenue or whatever the case may be. They become a manager. Now they're responsible for people. No training, no nothing. Right. And because of that, 31% of managers are only engaged. This is based on Gallup. 50% of employees quit because of what? Their manager. All right. 60% of managers lack critical people leadership skills. McKinsey, as Sinek just said, 56% more likely to experience what? Extensive disruptive change, restructuring, budget cuts, new workflows. They got to deal with all that. Nearly 75% of all American workers report experiencing work-related stress, and over 80% are at the risk of burnout by WellHub in 2025. 20% only, to his point. 20% of organizations offer leadership training that is focused on EQ or psychological safety. Okay. 34% of leaders earning over $180,000 are considering leaving their role due to work-related issues. Managers report that their employees face major stressors, including financial worry, sleep troubles, and loneliness and isolation. And then here is the kicker, right? Companies are losing productivity, 23% lower profitability, 37% higher absenteeism in low engagement teams. Now, if you think about this for a second, we just talked about, the blueprint. Okay. This blueprint that's set up been going on for, I don't know, centuries. Okay.
Right.
Centuries. Okay. And I get it back in the day when it was all about fear. Okay. Because you got to come in. You remember back in the day, you used to come to work and you better not be a minute late.
Right.
Okay. And then you
no work
leave.
from home there. Yeah.
No work from home. Then you didn't leave until the boss came out and nodded and said you had to leave and this and that, the whole 9 yards. Right. But the day the system is broken.
Yeah. 100%. And I think the issue too is that we have not only put people in positions that we haven't properly trained them for, but we've squashed them in this space of they're in charge, but they're not in charge. It's this false sense of empowerment. And so they're the boss, but they're not. They don't get to call the shots. They don't get to move the needle forward. They're just trying to, keep all the chairs on the boat deck. And because of that, they're in survival mode. And we're not giving them the empowerment to be able to lead properly, to be able to have hard conversations. And that's a lot of what I do with my clients, is teaching them how to not take things personally, to lead in uncertainty, to be able to figure out how to navigate hard conversations going up chain and down and across. And being able to, one of my last books, Unflappable, right? Being able to be unflappable in moments where they're trying to flap the heck out of you. And I think that's the idea that 80% of companies are not investing in leadership. It's not a soft skill. It is a hard skill. It is a hard won skill. And as you pointed out with all of those statistics, Tony, we don't have high productivity when we have low engagement. That is just a fact. And so if you've got employees who are leaving because of their managers, you've got managers who are leaving because they don't feel invested in, you are not as profitable as you could be. And there's an ROI of, I think I've seen statistics 3 and 5 times over for investing in the people, especially the people in that stuck middle space.
Absolutely. But here's the thing, though. As you said, I just went through a lot of statistics. But Simon, in his chat, he said that was problem number 1. Let's hear what he says about problem number 2 and the way he sees it.
Can't wait.
The other problem that I come across very often is I get some really wonderful self-taught leaders in middle management. They're reading books. They're going to conferences themselves. They're watching TED Talks. I mean, they're students of leadership. They have mentors. I mean, they're really making a go of it. And they complain that the senior management, all they care about is the quarterly earnings. And so the problem we have there is they're trying so hard to do the right thing, but management really doesn't care.
Yeah.
And listen, let's be clear here. So number 1, I can relate to this. I've been in corporate America 30 years, a sales leader for 21 of those years. Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't get any training. Okay. However, to his point, I was one of those individuals that had to learn on my own. I read a ton of books, right? I would listen to TED Talks. I would take little bitty things that I saw from different leaders. All right. And how they did the right things. And then obviously my greatest lessons were the people who wasn't doing it right. Okay.
Learn by what you don't want,
right? And I remember one of the things, again, we're talking about burning the playbook. So in the playbook, it talks about there's an open door policy. I mean, think about that. What does that mean?
Right.
And I give you an example. I remember I was working at this organization, right? This guy, the manager, he hired me and he's like, we have an open door policy. You can come in anytime you want and chat with me. I'm here to help you. And I would have a challenge and his door was open and I would come knock on the door. He has his head down. He looked at me and was like, what do you want? All right. You think that made me feel comfortable? Do you think that made me, if I had a challenge that I was willing to open up? Do you think if I was afraid to make a decision, you think that made me feel safe, right? So you know what I did? I was like, forget him. From now on, I'll figure this out myself. So to Simon's point, and he was a middle manager to be fair, but to Simon's point, I see this, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, as more of a leadership issue. Okay. Because the leaders, you have these mission statements, you go to any company, they have these value things. We believe in this, you have to sit in HR today. You watch a video when you're being onboarded at an organization and you watch a video to hear how great they are. They believe in integrity. They believe in communication and we're this and we're that. Right. And then you got to sign a waiver that says I'm following this, but they don't follow it.
No, 100%.
They're
Tony,
all about themselves, blah, blah, blah. Let me hear your thoughts.
Listen, I am grateful for that dynamic only because it funds my daughter's college educations. But the thing is that yes, they say something, but they do something different. And so many of us are contradictions in terms. You know, we say we believe a thing, but I say, I do not believe your words, I believe your actions. So show me where you do that. Show me how that shows up. And the work that I've done with organizations in creating not only strategic plans and mission statements and all of that is the integration of that with actual demonstrated behavior and accountability, is seeing how that translates to how does this action that I'm about to take reflect the values that I have up on the wall? Because if I don't have those values in the behaviors that I have, I better take those things off the wall or amend them properly. Because when people are in an organization where the organization says they stand for something, but in their behavior they demonstrate something very different, that cognitive dissonance, that strain and stress on the human psyche is huge. And it is the reason that most of my clients, when they tell me why they're leaving a company or why they left their last company, that is why, is because they talk the talk, but they do not walk the walk. And I don't, and you know, here's the thing, I don't want to hold them up to some inhuman standard. We all are, you know, kind of
We
contradictions in
we
terms,
all
right? At
fall
times,
short, right?
sure,
Right.
but
We all have blind spots.
you got to get in there and get down to these hard conversations and challenge those norms, those playbooks that if we put it on the wall, that's enough. If we have people sign off on it at, you know, employee orientation, that's where it ends. People will understand. No, they see the disconnect. And if they point it out and no one's listening, or there isn't the ability to have those harder conversations or those skills, because it takes skills to have hard conversations, then you have a nice painting.
Absolutely. And, you know, the final thing in terms of, you know, one of the big things, and what we say 80% of employees feel stress,
Yeah.
loneliness. You know, let's be fair though, too. In today's world, there's a lot of things going on, okay,
Mm-hmm.
outside of work, all right?
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, the employees are not robots, okay? And so they're
Right.
dealing with, you know, all these other extracurriculum things from a political standpoint, social standpoint, all these things. Then they got to come to
Financial. Yeah.
work and financial, thank you. And then they got to come to work and perform. And
Yeah.
what was that number? People leave 50% leave managers, right? Because the
Right.
manager is not there, or to your point and to Simon's point,
Yeah.
doesn't know how to have these type of conversations to
Right.
create psychological safety, to
Mm-hmm.
allow their employees to express themselves and still have them be productive. And
Yeah.
that is a skill. Okay, you just can't
Yeah.
plop somebody in there because those individuals, because they haven't had that training, they don't know what to do. So what do? Nothing. What
Exactly.
do? They
Yeah.
ignore the problem. What do? There's silence, and it
Yeah.
all runs downhill.
What you're saying really is that we need, when we burn this playbook, to come at leadership from a holistic standpoint, not from a you know, kind of turning a lever here, turning a lever there standpoint, because that seeing the people as humans, as people who have outside and inside influences, who have different developmental needs for, you know, leadership acumen, all of those things are incredibly important. And really, that whole avoiding of conflict, I see it time and time again in some of the most successful companies from the outside that I know are burning down from the inside out because they are not aligning mission with behaviors that confront problems.
There's no question. So let's dive into some solutions, right? So
All
number
right.
one, we have to, and you spoke about it, Simon spoke
Yeah.
about it, invest in leadership development. Hold on, let me just back up a second.
Mm.
Number one,
Yeah.
let's get rid
Mm.
of the nomenclature manager. All right.
Yeah.
What
Right.
does that mean? All right. Get rid of that and just they're leaders. All right. Because number
Yeah.
one, when you use the right term, people then
Mm-hmm.
understand what their role is. When you use the word manager, so that's number one. Let's burn that out. Everyone that is responsible for somebody else is a leader. Okay. So invest in leadership development, conflict management, emotional intelligence, psychological safety frameworks, right? And then role play these out. You've seen it. You've done this,
Yeah.
right? Where companies will have somebody come in and do a dog and pony show. They'll have all their managers come in and they'll sit for 2-3 hours. And then there's no follow up. All right. There's
Right.
nothing. So how, they're going to retain all that information. So role play, scenario training, and then create coaches, right? That
Oh,
helps
yeah.
build the leader, the leader's confidence. So when these situations come up, all right, they feel emboldened, they feel empowered that they're going to handle it. And look, they're not going to get everything okay. That is to your point you said earlier, there's going to be issues that they mess up, but that's okay. They're on
Yeah.
their path to becoming a better leader, right? To handle these situations. Let me hear a couple
Yeah.
things from you.
Yeah, I think, I think it goes with the psychology of if you're not building it, you're either letting it set or you're destroying it. That's how energy works. And a lot of companies in the leadership development arena, in the team building arena, in the skill building arena, in those what they call soft skills, which again aren't anything but, is they let it ride and they don't go forward. And if you are not building, it is ebbing away. Every challenge you have, every problem you have, this is not a one-shot deal. This is not a, like you said, dog and pony show. Bring a speaker in at the annual meeting, and then you've empowered everybody to follow what the inspirational speaker said. Because what I can tell you is what they're doing in the audience. If you aren't having some hand-holding afterward, if you aren't participating with them one-on-one afterward, they are sitting there looking at that going, like the Charlie Brown teacher, wah, wah,
Or they're
wah,
looking
wah,
at their
wah, wah,
phone.
right? Yeah.
Like, can
Like
what
yeah,
I'm
they're
gonna eat for
not,
dinner tonight.
yeah, exactly. I hope I'm getting a drink after this because that was worth my time. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really important to understand that these are continuing conversations. The skills as they develop, they will then get even better, and the company will get even better over time because it's a continual investment in advancement in their people, their number one resource. I don't care. We'll talk about AI some other time, but people are your greatest resource.
Absolutely. So listen, we want to hear what you think, right? Obviously, Dr. B and I are providing a couple of anecdotes on this, but look, at the end of the day, we're not the be all end all. We want this to be a collaborative show. So we'd love to hear exactly what you think. Throw some context into this, comment, share this if you really are inspired by it. We're going to be coming back on a weekly basis, continue to burn the playbook. So today, Dr. B, hey, that's a wrap for
Woo!
today's
Well,
burn.
that is awesome. Well, we broke down an outdated blueprint. We showed exactly what needs to be addressed and changed inside today's workplaces.
Absolutely. And like I said earlier, if this sparks something in you or you think somebody needs to hear it, a leader, share it with them, send us feedback. We would love to hear it.
Oh, join the movement. Tell us what blueprint you want us to cover next, because this
Is Burn the Blueprint Podcast.
where old systems get tossed.
And new ideas get built.
So what did you want me to do, Tony?
My girl, do you have it ready? I want you to
Oh, I do.
burn it.
Here we go.
Burn it. Woo!
There we go.
I love it. All right. All right.
We have the technology.
We can burn it down. So we're done with that. So I'm Tony Tidbit.
And I'm Dr. B.
And we'll see you next time.
See you then.